Little did I know, a storm was brewing just beyond the bathroom door. As I washed my hands, an unsettling tension filled the air, and I could sense that something was about to shatter the fragile calm. My heart raced, and the echo of my own breath seemed to amplify the impending chaos. What my stepmom was plotting in the shadows would change everything. I wasn't ready for the revelation that awaited me when I stepped back into the world outside that door. In a twist of fate that I could never have foreseen, I found myself reeling in the very sanctuary I called home. The air was thick with tension as my stepmother, Lydia, a vibrant force at 62, suddenly became the architect of my betrayal. From the moment I stepped back into my father's home, I sensed the tension lurking beneath the surface, but nothing could have steeled me for the harrowing revelation that shattered the calm of that seemingly ordinary Tuesday morning. As I stepped back into the familiar streets of my hometown, a sense of urgency gripped me. Fresh from the confines of college, I was driven by a desperate need to gather my resources, to secure my future before the shadows of uncertainty closed in around me. While I was lost in the pursuit of my studies, my father, Robert, made a choice that would forever alter the course of our lives. He remarried. Lydia was a whirlwind of energy, a radiant force whose laughter pierced through the shadows, igniting even the darkest of days with a flicker of hope. She obliterated every preconceived notion I had ever harbored about stepmothers, and in a twist of fate, our bond flourished in ways I never anticipated, often eclipsing the connection I shared with my father. That fateful morning, I found myself in the bathroom, the air thick with anticipation, as I prepared for a job interview that held the weight of my dreams. The shower roared with a relentless hum, steam swirling like a ghostly shroud around me, as I grappled with the tempest of my own anxiety. Opportunities like this don't come knocking every day, do they? As I mentally rehearsed my answers, a chilling knock reverberated through the silence of the room, sending a shiver down my spine. Aiden? Lydia's voice pierced through the thick veil of mist, gentle yet unmistakably clear, sending a shiver down his spine. Is anyone inside? Indeed, Lydia. The moment has arrived as I prepare for my interview. I dialed the number again, my heart racing as I tried to mask the tension in my voice. A tense silence enveloped the room, thick with anticipation, before her voice broke through once more. Forgive me for intruding, but a pressing matter compels me to retrieve something from the bathroom. Do you dare to object? Step inside if you dare. The air is thick with anticipation, and secrets linger in the shadows. What awaits you beyond this threshold? Only time will reveal the truth. I responded, my hand slicing through the fogged glass, revealing a world shrouded in mystery. The door creaked open, a haunting whisper in the stillness, as Lydia slipped inside, her light blue robe fluttering like a ghostly shroud. Her silver hair, meticulously swept into a tidy bun, glimmered in the dim light, hinting at secrets untold and a tension that hung thick in the air. I had anticipated her swift and silent departure, a mere shadow slipping through the cracks of the night. But as her hand delved into the depths of the cabinet, my gaze was drawn to the loose ties of her robe, fluttering like a warning flag in the stillness of the room. It parted ever so slightly, revealing a tantalizing glimpse of her bare shoulder and collarbone, a moment suspended in time, charged with unspoken tension. Heat surged through my cheeks, a fierce tide of embarrassment, compelling me to avert my gaze in a desperate attempt to shield my vulnerability. Is everything all right? I inquired, my voice trembling as I fought to maintain composure. She turned to me, her eyes glinting with a mysterious spark, as if she held secrets that could unravel the very fabric of reality. Oh, I'm fine, she whispered, her voice barely above a murmur, as she clutched the small bottle tightly in her hand. The tension hung in the air, thick and palpable, as if the very walls were listening, waiting for the storm to break. Are you feeling the weight of anticipation as the moment approaches for your interview? A flicker of truth escaped my lips, a desperate grasp at the fleeting distraction that threatened to unravel me. Her smile pierced through the tension, a beacon of warmth in the shadows, igniting a flicker of hope amidst the uncertainty that loomed around us. In this pivotal moment, Aiden, the weight of expectation hangs heavy in the air. The world is watching, and the stakes have never been higher. You must rise to the occasion, for greatness awaits just beyond the horizon. Will you seize it? The answer lies within you. In a world shrouded in uncertainty, the greatest challenge lies in the simplest of truths, to embrace your true self. Will you dare to unveil the depths of your soul, or will the shadows of doubt consume you? The choice is yours, and the stakes have never been higher. They will witness the extraordinary depths of your brilliance, a revelation that will leave them breathless. Her words detonated in the air, a volatile force as always. Lydia possessed an enchanting ability that ignited a fire within you, making you believe that no challenge was insurmountable, no mountain too high to climb. I nodded, a surge of gratitude coursing through me, but as she pivoted to depart, the belt of her robe betrayed her, slipping free with a suddenness that sent a jolt through the air. In that fleeting moment, the fabric cascaded open, revealing a world of vulnerability and tension that hung palpably between us. The very fabric of time appeared to freeze, suspended in a moment thick with tension. My gaze was locked, my disbelief palpable, as reality twisted before me. There she was, Lydia, my stepmother, laid bare before my eyes, a chilling tension hanging in the air. With a sharp intake of breath, she wrenched the robe closed, her heart racing in a whirlwind of panic. Her cheeks burned with an intensity that could ignite the very air around her. "Oh my goodness, Aiden, I'm so sorry," she gasped, her voice trembling as she fumbled with the tie, panic coursing through her veins. "I never intended for this to happen, nor did I foresee the consequences lurking in the shadows." I was equally unmoored, my thoughts whirling in a chaotic dance, teetering on the brink of madness. "It's okay," I blurted, my voice barely above a whisper as I turned away, desperate to grant her the solitude she so desperately needed. It was an accident, a fateful twist of destiny that would forever alter the course of lives intertwined in a web of uncertainty. "Indeed, indeed. Just an accident," she echoed, her voice trembling, a shroud of humiliation enveloping her as the weight of the moment hung heavily in the air. "I beg you, keep this secret from your dad. Just this once." The weight of it hangs in the air, a fragile thread that could snap at any moment. "Trust me, it's for the best." He would be consumed by despair. With a hesitant nod, I found myself engulfed in a whirlwind of confusion, struggling to grasp the gravity of the situation. Whispers linger in the shadows, binding us in an unbreakable pact. This is our little secret, a truth cloaked in mystery, waiting to unravel at the most unexpected moment. In a heartbeat, she burst from the bathroom, a fleeting shadow, leaving me ensnared in a tempest of swirling thoughts and unanswered questions. I pressed my back against the cold, unforgiving sink, my heart pounding violently within the confines of my chest. My mind raced, disbelief clawing at the edges of my sanity. My 62-year-old stepmother stood before me, in a moment that shattered every notion I thought I understood, leaving me breathless and bewildered. For the remainder of the day, I found myself engulfed in a suffocating haze of despair, rendered utterly powerless. The interview loomed before me, a shadowy specter of uncertainty, while my dreams for the future slipped through my fingers like grains of sand, leaving nothing but a haunting void in their wake. My mind was consumed by thoughts of Lydia, the way her robe had carelessly fallen, and the haunting expression that crossed her face as the shocking truth dawned upon her. It was a visceral jolt, a deep-seated turmoil that clawed at the very fabric of her being. A presence lingered in the shadows, elusive and haunting, slipping through my grasp like smoke. I could feel it, a weight in the air, but its true nature remained just out of reach, teasing my senses with an unsettling mystery. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows that danced ominously around me, I maneuvered through the crowd with a palpable sense of urgency. Every step was calculated, every glance averted, as I desperately sought to evade her presence, knowing that any encounter could ignite an unbearable tension in the air. Yet, each fleeting moment I beheld her, a fierce heat ignited within me, igniting a tempest of emotions I could scarcely contain. She wore a mask of indifference, yet an undercurrent of unease crackled in the atmosphere, a haunting melody that had never played before. I slipped beneath the covers, a desperate plea for slumber to erase the haunting echoes of the day. Yet, as I lay there, fixated on the ceiling, that moment haunted me, replaying relentlessly in the shadows of my thoughts. A dark cloud loomed over my thoughts, whispering that I mustn't linger on it. Yet the temptation was irresistible. She was my stepmom, for heaven's sake. Yet an unsettling tension lingered in the air, refusing to be ignored. There was an undeniable force surrounding Lydia, an enigmatic allure that ensnared my senses, beckoning me closer with an intensity one couldn't comprehend. The following morning, I stumbled upon a note lying ominously on the kitchen table, its words hastily etched in Lydia's meticulous handwriting, sending a shiver down my spine. My heart raced, a wild drumbeat echoing in my throat as I absorbed the weight of those words. What secrets lay behind her desire to speak? What urgency flickered in her eyes, hinting at a revelation that could change everything? The air thickened with anticipation, as the question hung in the balance, begging for an answer that could shatter the silence. Had she revealed the secret to Dad? Was she plotting to mend the rift? Or was there a deeper game at play? But what if there was a tempest lurking just out of sight, waiting to unleash its fury? I clenched the note tightly in my fist, a storm of nerves surging through me like electric currents, each pulse igniting a sense of impending doom. With Dad away on a business trip, the house felt eerily quiet, leaving just the two of us in a world that suddenly seemed much larger and more foreboding. The hours stretched endlessly before me, each tick of the clock amplifying the tension in the air as I prepared for the storm that was about to unfold. What secrets lay hidden in her plans? I could feel the weight of anticipation pressing down, a palpable force that promised to change everything. The urge to escape the confines of my surroundings gripped me, a desperate need for the crisp, invigorating air that could cleanse my troubled thoughts. I took a step into the unknown, the world outside beckoning with an unsettling promise of clarity. As I meandered through the shadowy paths of the nearby park, the haunting echoes of the previous morning replayed in my mind, each thought more chilling than the last. The haunting image of Lydia lingered in my mind, her eyes wide with shock, a deep crimson hue painting her cheeks, and the frantic escape she made from the room echoed in the silence that followed. As I returned, the sun hung perilously low on the horizon, casting long shadows that whispered secrets of the encroaching night. Through the kitchen window, I caught a glimpse of Lydia, her movements frantic and purposeful, as she prepared dinner, the air thick with an unspoken tension. With a heart pounding in my chest, I inhaled sharply and crossed the threshold into the unknown. The tantalizing aroma of roasted chicken hung in the air, a siren's call that beckoned with promise, while the table lay meticulously arranged for two, each setting a silent witness to the unfolding drama. "Hey, Aiden," she said, her smile flickering like a candle in the wind, revealing an undercurrent of tension that hung in the air. "I have prepared your favorite, a dish that holds secrets and memories, waiting to be unveiled. Will you dare to take a bite and uncover what lies within? Prepare yourself, for a feast awaits that will ignite your senses and leave you yearning for more." "Thanks, Lydia," I murmured, my voice barely above a whisper as I sank into the chair, the weight of the moment pressing down on me. The air crackled with tension as we dined, each bite a careful maneuver through the minefield of silence, skirting around the colossal truth that hung heavily in the space between us. At last, as the plate lay barren before her, she lowered her fork with a deliberate slowness and fixed her gaze upon me, a silent storm brewing in her eyes. "Aiden, about yesterday," she began, her voice trembling with uncertainty, as if the very air around them crackled with unspoken tension. Yes, the weight of my thoughts hung heavy in the air as I finally met her gaze, a silent acknowledgement of the storm brewing within us both. With a heavy sigh, she let her fingers glide through her silver hair, each strand whispering secrets of a past shrouded in mystery. The weight of unspoken truths hangs heavy in the air, and I find myself compelled to confront the shadows between us. It's time for a reckoning, a moment where honesty must pierce the veil of silence that has enveloped us. In that dimly lit bathroom, chaos erupted. An accident, yes, but it unleashed a torrent of emotions I never anticipated. Emotions that clawed at the edges of my heart, feelings I believed I had long outgrown. A wave of disbelief washed over me, leaving me utterly paralyzed. I steeled my resolve, anticipating her dismissal, the words hanging in the air like a storm cloud, ready to unleash a torrent of denial as she declared her desire to erase it all from memory. Yet this revelation caught me completely off guard. "Lydia, what are you trying to convey?" I inquired, my voice trembling, barely escaping my lips like a secret meant to be kept in the shadows. She inhaled sharply, her gaze piercing through the air, locking onto mine with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine. "I've been sensing an undeniable tension between us, a force that has been building silently, waiting for the right moment to erupt. Deep within the shadows of my conscience, I grapple with the weight of my choices. I never intended for this chaos to unfold, yet here we are, teetering on the brink of an irreversible fate. Yet yesterday, a haunting thought crept into my mind. Could it be that you, too, are ensnared by this unspoken connection?" My mind was a tempest, a chaotic storm of confusion, excitement, and guilt, all colliding in a tumultuous frenzy. The truth loomed over me, undeniable and heavy, casting a shadow that I could no longer escape. Lydia was a vision of beauty, her sharp wit and kindness illuminating the shadows around us. Our connection was undeniable, electric, a spark that ignited a fire within me, one I could no longer pretend to overlook. Yet, she held the title of my stepmother, bound to my father by vows that echoed through the halls of our home. A shadow loomed over the situation, a palpable tension hanging in the air. This was all kinds of wrong, wasn't it? Words escaped me, lost in the shadows of uncertainty. At long last, I triumphed against the odds. "You are the woman who stepped into my life, a figure cloaked in complexity and unspoken tension. And father, I know, Aiden," she interrupted, her fingers brushing against my hand, a spark of tension crackling in the air between us. My heart beats with an intensity that echoes through the shadows of my soul, for I am utterly captivated by your father. Yet what stirs within me for you is unlike anything I've ever known. In a world shrouded in misunderstanding, we share a connection that defies explanation, a bond so profound that it feels as if we are the only two souls who truly comprehend one another. Her touch startled something deep inside me, unfamiliar and impossible to name. Deep down, a voice whispered that I should retreat, that this was madness, that it could never succeed. Yet the pull was undeniable, a magnetic force drawing me closer to the edge of the unknown. Yet I found myself unable to do so. Instead, I felt an irresistible pull, inching closer, my heart racing wildly, echoing like a relentless drum in the silence of the moment. "Lydia," I began, unsure what I was even about to say. But then she moved closer, the tension between us becoming impossible to ignore, soft, hesitant, as if she were daring to dip her toes into the depths of the unknown. Then, as if the very heavens had opened, all the tension, all the yearning we had desperately contained surged forth in a tumultuous wave. Our faces met in a charged silence that neither of us dared to break, my fingers tracing the delicate curve of her arms, drawing her closer into the intoxicating embrace of the moment. In that ephemeral instant, the world around faded into oblivion, and nothing else held significance. Neither my father nor the repercussions shall define me. It was just Lydia and me, ensnared in a relentless tide, powerless against the forces that threatened to consume us. But then, reality crashed down with a deafening roar. I tore myself free, gasping for air, my voice quaking with unrestrained emotion. "Lydia, we stand at the precipice of a decision that could shatter everything. We can't do this. What fate has befallen father? What will become of us?" Her gaze pierced through the shadows, a tempest of longing and remorse swirling within those depths, leaving me breathless in the charged silence that hung between us. Uncertainty hung in the air like a thick fog, and with a tremor in her voice, she whispered, "I don't know, Aiden." The weight of her words lingered, a haunting echo of doubt that sent shivers down his spine. The truth weighs heavily on my heart, an undeniable force I can no longer mask. The shadows of my emotions loom large, and the time for pretense has vanished into the darkness. Yet, in the shadows of truth, you stand unwaveringly correct. We stand at a precipice, teetering on the edge of uncertainty. The weight of this moment presses down upon us, demanding our attention. What does this truly signify? What path shall we choose in the shadows of this revelation? I nodded, my chest burdened by the crushing weight of it all, as shadows loomed ominously around me. We had ventured into uncharted territory, and there was no turning back now. The days that followed merged into a haunting haze, each moment dripping with uncertainty and foreboding. Lydia and I danced on the edge of normalcy, yet an electric tension crackled in the air, lurking just beneath the surface, waiting for the moment to erupt. Dad returned from his journey, blissfully ignorant of the tempest gathering within the walls of our home. I plunged headfirst into the relentless pursuit of a new job, yet my mind was ensnared by the haunting memory of Lydia, the kiss that lingered like a ghost, and the way her eyes had desperately sought mine, igniting a fire within me that refused to be extinguished. One fateful evening, a week after that pivotal moment, I stumbled upon her on the porch, her eyes locked onto the horizon, where the sun bled into the sky, casting an eerie glow that hinted at secrets untold. I joined her, and we sat in a heavy silence, the air thick with unspoken words, as the sky transformed into a breathtaking canvas of pink and orange, each hue a whisper of secrets yet to be revealed. After a heavy silence enveloped the room, she finally spoke, her voice trembling with the weight of her thoughts. I've been doing a lot of thinking about us. The air thickened with anticipation, as if the very walls were holding their breath, waiting for the storm that was about to unfold. In the shadows of uncertainty, a tale unfolds, a gripping account of events that would forever alter the course of fate. What transpired remains shrouded in mystery, each moment teetering on the edge of revelation, waiting to be unearthed. The air thickens with tension as the truth looms just beyond reach, beckoning the brave to so did I confessed, my heart racing as the weight of the truth hung in the air. The thought haunts me, an unrelenting shadow that grips my mind, refusing to let go. She turned to me, her expression heavy with unspoken truths, a storm brewing in her eyes. The time has come, Aiden. We stand at a crossroads, and a decision looms over us like a dark cloud, threatening to unleash its storm at any moment. We stand at a precipice, a moment fraught with tension. It is now or never. Either we sever this thread before it spirals into chaos, or we delve into the unknown and uncover the truth that lies beneath. What we desire, deep within the shadows of our hearts. My throat tightened as I fought to keep my composure, thoughts spiraling into a whirlwind of uncertainty. In that moment, the weight of truth crashed down upon him like a thunderclap, reverberating through the very core of his being. She was right, and the realization sent shivers down his spine, igniting a firestorm of doubt and fear. What had he overlooked? What consequences lay ahead? The air thickened with tension, and we could no longer linger in this suffocating fog, feigning that all was well when the truth was a dark abyss lurking just beneath the surface. What is it that you desire, Lydia? I whispered, my voice trembling on the edge of silence. Her eyes glistened, a tempest of sorrow and longing swirling within their depths. Uncertainty hung in the air like a thick fog, and with a tremor in her voice, she whispered, I don't know, Aiden. The weight of the unknown loomed over them, casting shadows on their path forward. My heart pounded, overwhelmed by feelings I didn't yet understand. Yet, the thought of causing your father pain sends shivers down my spine. I fear the impending chaos that could shatter everything I hold dear. The weight of my decision hangs heavy in the air. The thought of causing him pain sends shivers down my spine. I am torn, caught in a web of emotions, desperate to shield him from the storm brewing within me. I uttered, my heart heavy with an unbearable weight. Yet, I find myself unable to escape the overwhelming tide of emotions that swirl within me for you. As she reached out, her fingers entwined with mine, a jolt of electricity surged through me, anchoring my very soul in a moment that felt both perilous and profound. Perhaps we should pause, to unravel the tangled threads of our fate, to unveil the depths of our true emotions, stripped of the suffocating weight of pressure and the haunting shadows of guilt. I nodded, my grip tightening around her hand, a silent promise hanging in the air between us. Perhaps, just perhaps, that could be the turning point we've been waiting for. As the sun sank into the abyss, we remained there, fingers intertwined, acutely aware that the storm brewing ahead would irrevocably change the course of our existence. We were shrouded in uncertainty, the answers eluding us like shadows in the night, far from our grasp. Yet, in the shadows of uncertainty, we clung to one another, our bond a flickering flame against the encroaching darkness. In that fleeting instant, it felt like everything had converged into a singular truth, a breath held in the silence of uncertainty. It was enough, but the shadows whispered of what lay beyond, lurking just out of sight, waiting for the next heartbeat to shatter the fragile peace. The days ahead loomed ominously, shrouded in uncertainty, and a nagging question clawed at the edges of my mind. What dark secrets lay hidden behind her words? "We need to talk," scrawled in that note I had stumbled upon. Had she been grappling with this torment all along, hidden beneath the surface, waiting for the moment to erupt? Did she dare to confront the storm brewing within her heart? But what if there was a hidden truth lurking beneath the surface, something she had been desperately concealing? Aiden's world was never meant to twist this way, but sometimes it's not betrayal that hurts most, it's the secret you carry alone. Would you have walked away, or would you have stayed knowing how it might end? Let me know in the comments. What would you do if your stepmother crossed that line? If this story hit you somewhere deep, or even left you breathless, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and join me tomorrow for another A True Infidelity Story, because some truths demand to be told. And trust me, the next one, you won't survive it with your heart intact.